Listen, I don't know if you want to be a luxury agent or you just want to break into higher price points. Whichever the case, Janie Coffey, our guest today, is going to help you. So Janie Coffey's out of St. Augustine, Florida. She's not only a top luxury agent, but she's also the co-chair of the luxury EXP Luxury, as well as an amazing trainer and coach. So we brought her on today to talk about how to break into higher price points and maybe get rid of some of the head trash we have, and then give you some great tactical strategies you can do. So Janie, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm super excited to be on with you guys. Thank you.
You guys have a great, I can't wait to be a fly on the wall. You guys have a great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan.
Well, hello, friend. Thanks for doing this for us. We really appreciate it. So I want to start off, just a quick background about yourself. Can you share a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I've been in real estate sales for just shy of 20 years. I've been in the real estate bigger arena for about 35 years because I came from a development and construction background. Had my own brokerage for 5 years. I was the executive vice president of a very large Sotheby's, founding agent and director of sales at Compass, and now, as you know, the co-chair here at EXP in the luxury division. But through a lot of that, I wasn't always in management. I also was a top producer based on using luxury as a way to get my production up with fewer sales, and top team leader. So I've kind of done it all: owned, managed, solo agent, team leader, trainer, but always around luxury. And one thing, Bryon, I want to point out that you said it's not just about luxury at the highest price point like a lot of people think. It might be that starter luxury in your community. That could be the golf club communities. That could be the move up communities. That's still luxury in your MLS. And there's a lot of head trash, like you said, around what that means. And we just want to help people raise their average sales price. At the end of the day, that's it.
Yeah. And, so let's dive in on that head trash, because I think a lot of agents assume I've got to have a Lamborghini. I've got to have a Rolex. Ooh, I have to have a Bravo show.
Yep.
People don't actually sell anything, but that's another story. So what's the reality of becoming a luxury agent? Do I need, silk imported suits and all that stuff to get started?
No, not at all. And I'm like the picture perfect person of that. And funny thing is, a lot of times when people have those things, they're not necessarily the top luxury agents. What you do have to have is confidence. And I don't mean arrogance. I don't mean cockiness, just confidence that you are the best person to represent these buyers and sellers with whatever they're doing in their lives at that time, whether it's a house, a second home, a 10th home, whatever it is. Confidence, and that comes from knowledge, that comes from understanding the market at a deep level where you are, the nuances of luxury real estate where you are. Those are the main things you need. Everything else is secondary, and certainly not a Lamborghini, or even belonging to a club or having that social sphere that a lot of people think. It's confidence, knowledge, and then normally a good skill in negotiations.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say knowledge, and that's why with EXP Luxury, we started with certification. If you've never sold luxury before, we want you to go through the certification program. Now, your coaching program that you're doing with EXP Elevate will actually serve as that qualification. You no longer have to do the certification if you go through that coaching program, but that's where to start, right? Is knowledge. Now, I want to dive in on some of that, because you and I were talking the other day, and you were sharing some really great practical advice for jumping into the luxury market. So can we start with maybe niches? And this was, I hadn't really thought of it, was never a luxury agent. But when you said it, it made all the sense in the world, that I thought of luxury as a niche, but actually, no, there's niches within luxury. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. I think a lot of times where luxury, first of all, there's luxury in every single market, because luxury is defined by the Institute of Luxury Home Marketing as the top 10% of your MLS. So whatever that top 10% of your area that you serve, that could be $450,000, that could be $10 million, that could be $50 million, whatever that top 10% of your area. That's a good place to start. But normally when you are getting into those higher price points relative to your area, depending on where you are in the world, there might be some specialty niches, property type niches in that area. That could be ski homes. That could be golf homes. That could be waterfront homes, equestrian properties. And the reason I love, first of all, when you're in the higher price points, you're competing with fewer agents anyway. And then if you put some effort and time into developing a niche within that, it doesn't mean that's all you sell, but you become the expert in your area for that niche. And if you can even tie that into something you're already passionate about or have a hobby around, waterfront property, maybe you're a fisherman, or you are a water sports person, maybe you're a golfer or a skier. There's probably 50 niches out there. So put your thinking cap on. But what happens is you become a category of one as far as being the agent, which makes you become so much more discoverable, and the competition goes away, and objections for hiring you and what you have to say diminish greatly.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes agents worry when it comes to niches, whether you're normal residential, luxury, or what have you, that if I niche too much, I'm not going to have enough business to sustain my goals. Well, two things. One, when we're talking about luxury niches, we're okay there. But the other thing too is, you don't have to have just one niche. I had a friend of mine who was in Atlanta, and he was the king of condos in Atlanta. But when you looked, he was also the king of ranch homes in Atlanta and things of that nature, right? So you can niche in multiple areas at once. Just start with one and build and add another. So speaking of building out our business, you and I talked a little bit about farming and the approach that you take with farming. You want to share a little bit about how to succeed in geographic farming with luxury?
Yeah, so first of all, you can farm in one or two ways or combined. So you can do traditional farming, which would be some sort of mailing, which would either be just sending out mail through EDDM or maybe a selected list. So I'm here in historic downtown St. Augustine. I don't necessarily want all the homes in downtown St. Augustine. I specialize, one of my specialties, because I have three niches, like you talked about, Bryon, is historic homes. So I have gone through in the tax records and pulled out all the historic homes over a certain price point to do mailings to. And then you can add digital farming in on top of that, between doing targeted ads, geographic farming, like geo fencing and things like that. So that's one of the ways that really pushes you up very quickly in the eyes of the consumer as the expert in that specific niche.
Any advice for us in terms when you say mailing, what kind of content are we mailing out? What kind of offer for response do we want to use to get people to take that mailing and reach to us?
Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat.
It's Florida in the summertime. You should be hydrating.
I am hydrated. I am. So first of all, people always want to know information that's important to them. So market report data and showing, and these days, how is that trending? Are market trending up? Are they trending down? List to sales price ratio. What's going on? And of course, the perfect call to action with that would be, contact us for a free CMA or free valuation, something like that, just to start the conversation. Once you start having open houses, just listed, just sold, filter that in. And then what I do also, because I'm specialized in building my inventory through luxury expireds, is I also start to send out case studies. And that's been one of my favorites, where I send out a case study of a successfully sold expired and say, when we came across this listing, what did we find? And that could be anything from the photos were poor, the description wasn't great, the market, whatever it was, put that in there. What did we do differently? And then what was the results, which of course is the sale. And then we offer a free SWOT analysis, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Again, just to get them to reach out and ask us to see how we can help them go from being listed to actually sold.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about this the other day on our Instagram Live, but I didn't ask you. So you said that you do expired. Now, when I think about expired, I think about 3 minutes of pain, where I'm just trying to let that person gas themselves out, and then kind of come in, build the rapport, and then follow up. Right? That's the typical thought process on converting expireds. But you don't do that. In fact, you're not making phone calls to expireds. You're actually mailing. Can you share a little bit about what you're sending to those folks that's going to be
Yeah.
so intriguing to them?
Sure. So I moved from Miami to St. Augustine, where I am now, 9 years ago. And I had huge dreams. I wanted to be within the top 10 of my MLS within 3 years. And I knew the only way to do that was luxury properties, because you get a lot of bang for your buck with production per property. But since I had no name recognition, no knowledge of the market, I thought luxury expireds was the way to go. But I am not good on the phone. I think I've spoken to two expireds on the phone, had a heart attack. Probably they heard me hit the ground and just silence. So I decided I needed to come at it from a completely different angle. So what I did was I created a mailing program that starts with a big fat packet sent the very first day that the property expires. And in that packet, I'm, talking about myself, talking about marketing plans for my listings, what we do differently. And I also do a commission table. So I have 3 different offerings. I don't say what the commissions are, but kind of like a silver, gold, and bronze listing packages. Again, trying to get them to call. Talk a little bit about myself. When I first started, of course, I didn't have the successes, so I didn't have the success stories. We have that now. After that first package is sent out, I alternate letter, postcard, every single day for a week. Then I go to every 3 days. Then I go to once a week. Eventually, it just falls into my just listed, just sold direct mail with everybody else. That alone, like I said, generated enough closed production that by my second year in a brand new market, I was number 9 in our entire MLS, because everything
So,
sprung off of that.
well, I mean, a couple of things in what you just said. First off, with expireds, you're going to see expireds in the luxury market because there can be a longer days on market depending upon what's going on in your local area. So you are going to see expireds in the luxury market. The smart thing that you're doing that I absolutely love is, like, one of the first questions that an expired is going to have after you get through that period of letting them vent is, well, how are you going to market my property differently?
Yep.
Because that's what they're blaming the other agent for not doing.
100%.
Right now, we're not going to get into the other agent at all. Don't go there.
Right.
But differentiating how you're going to market their property is the number one thing that they want to hear, because that's what they're blaming. They're not blaming the price,
100%.
which we often know is actually the case, but that's a smart way of doing it as well. And you said something, and I just want to remind the newer agents out there. You said, at first I didn't have the stats for the credibility. Think we, then I, newer
Yeah.
agents, right? So we, EXP in this area, do this. And if you're not sure what we, EXP in this area do, reach out to your local broker, ask about those stats so that you can leverage us as your tribe before you establish your own credibility in your market. And then once you do, obviously use your own stats. Well, speaking of stats, you and I were talking about this, and you said one of the other things that you do is, you said, I'm a market report ninja. What does that mean? How do you do that?
Yeah. So I think everybody, and this is not just for luxury, and real fast, Bryon, even when I was a solo agent, everything was going out at the time as the coffee team, and I always spoke in we, always, because that allows you to bring people in when you need to bring people in. That shows you have bigger breadth of exposure. So I think that we is huge.
Yeah.
Market Report Ninja, I think every single real estate agent should become a master of not only making market reports, but truly understanding what they mean. What does a changing days on market mean for a seller? What does it mean for a buyer? What does a changing list to sales price ratio mean? Does 1 month of change mean something, or do we need to look at 6 months and the trend line, right? Everybody should be doing meaty market reports for the area that they serve. You do that once a month, but you can repurpose that information into video, short form, long form, into direct mail postcards like we talked about with the farming. You can include that information in a very nice printout. When you have open houses, you can mail it out in letter format. You can send that off to whomever reports in your area for the news on the real estate area, because every area has a real estate reporter or a person writing about it. Get that to them. You can have monthly market report sit down events. I know people who have done really, really well having them at the local restaurant or cafe. There's just so much, and that makes you be seen because that's data. So you're seen as the expert.
That's interesting. You mentioned two things. I'm curious. My experience is a lot of agents say, yeah, I tried that. And when they say, yeah, I tried that, what they really mean is they tried it once. You know, the proverbial, I did a newsletter for 45 days in my geographic farm and it didn't work, right? Well, yeah, it's 45 days. So when you talk about your market reports, how frequently are you sending those out?
No, it needs to be done every single month because that, and you can literally, I truly believe this, if you pour everything into your market reports and in how you put them out there into the world, you could almost make your entire lead gen plan around market reports. It's that solid. But you, like I said, you have to understand what the data means, and you have to be able to articulate that well to both buyers and sellers. And it's truly magic. I mean, and if you're not a graphic artist, go to Etsy. You can buy market report like graphics that you can import into Canva and put your data in there and look like a superstar for like $2. I mean, it's easy. It's easy.
That's awesome. All right. So we've got you a little bit later today with the luxury team. You're going to be doing a free webinar. You want to share with folks about what we're doing today at Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah. So at 2 p.m. Eastern, like you said, first of all, with Elevate Coaching, we have a course coming up that starts next Wednesday. And by the way, this is not just for new agents. This luxury training it's the same training I've given to a ton of Sotheby's agents, a ton of Compass agents, a ton of agents across very established luxury agents, because it's very meaty and detailed. That starts next Wednesday, and it goes on for 12 weeks. But what we wanted to do is give everybody a sneak peek, just a taste of what might be included in that. So today at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have a 1-hour sneak peek in the course, and we're calling it Shelter from the Storm, luxury segments that are insulated from the economy and the NAR settlement. Because I truly believe that luxury business in general, luxury listings even more, are greatly insulated from all of the changes both in the economy and NAR. So we're going to be giving you somewhere between 5 and 10 segments that you can focus on that sell no matter what, no matter what's going on in the economy, no matter what's going on with NAR. So that is free for anybody to join. We have a Zoom link and where you can join. I think that Bryan's sharing that out. And if you are in EXP watching this, you can also go to EXP Luxury Program Info. We have a workplace group, and you can also find it in there. So I'm super, super excited for this, because no matter what's going on, real estate still gets sold. You just want to be on one side or the other of that in an up or down market.
That's right. And I think Alex Trofino, who's one of the magic makers behind the scenes here, who make the magic happen, I think she's going to throw that in the chat, the Zoom link for you all. And again, that's 2 p.m. Eastern today. That's a free training that EXP Luxury, led by Janie Coffey, today is going to put on. And then next week, we have your Elevate coaching programs, 12-week program. I mean, this is really in depth. You're taking them through the whole kind of gamut of everything they need to know to get started in the luxury market. And we have, if you go to, there we go, there's expelevatecoaching.com, where you can just click this QR code. There's your promo code to get 15% off. And by the way, folks, if you show up to the first one and don't like it, we give you back your money. You have a money back guarantee. So if you show up on 31st and don't just absolutely love this program, we will give you your money back. So go check this out. There's nothing to lose. And Janie, I know from all of us here, we greatly appreciate you helping us raise our commissions, one commission check at a time with the luxury and higher price market. So thanks so much for being here with us.
Bryon, real fast, Carrie Zier, our VP of Marketing, is going to be at the WIN event that Kendall and everybody was sharing about. She's going to be there, and she's going to be doing a training as well around luxury. So if you're going to WIN, make sure to sign up for that program. Carrie is amazing, and you guys are all going to love her at that WIN event as well.
I will be there as well, so I'll check that out. Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Bryon.
Happy Friday to you, friend. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.